Yeah. Okay, I'm going to reconvene the special meeting of the Folsom City Council for Tuesday, July 9th, 2024. Mr. City Attorney, is there anything to report?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. No final action tonight.
Okay, we will adjourn the special meeting and call to order the regular meeting of the Folsom City Council, again for Tuesday, July 9th, 2024. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Council members Rodriguez.
Here.
Rorba. Here. Aquino.
Here.
Chalem-Cherla.
Here.
And Kozlowski.
Also here, and if everybody will please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We are going to start this evening with business from the floor. This is the opportunity for residents to address the City Council on items that are...
Agenda update.
Let's hold that for just 1 second. Are there any agenda updates for tonight?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. There are additional information transmittals for items 13 and 14 on tonight's agenda. A copy has been previously provided to you, and they are also available on the table in the back.
Fantastic, thank you. Okay, that will move us to business from the floor. Okay, business from the floor is the opportunity to address the council on items that are not already on the agenda. Do we have any speakers requesting to speak?
Yes, you have one request tonight under business from the floor from Justin Rathel.
Mr. Rathel, please come forward.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight. I went out walking and around the Park Shore community this morning after I got some texts from residents. They are struggling with homeless encampments that are around Park Shore, as I'm sure you guys are very well aware. They've had illegal camping, unleashed dogs. They had a fire at one of the encampments last night, and the dumping of trash that's flowing into Willow Creek is pretty astounding. I was pretty shocked that I could see the campsites on city property. I could see the trash that was all around there. I would say if this was private property, that the city of Folsom would have already issued a notice to abate to that property owner. I did call the assessor today and did confirm that it is city of Folsom property that's there. There is fish and game property that probably needs attention also to the east of there. But I'm here tonight to talk to you about the city of Folsom property, of course. I know Grants Pass has just recently changed how the city can handle these. So I know it's only been, 9 days, 11 days here. So I know you guys are working on it, and I know Folsom PD and Code Enforcement is working on it. But I wanted to bring this area to your attention. These camps actually are already in open space that are shut down from fire danger. So it's not like we are waiting on this decision. Between my walk this morning and the meeting tonight, I did get confirmation that Folsom PD is planning on cleaning that up next Wednesday. But I'm here tonight to say if they've been there a while, we've got trash all over the place. We're going to ask these residents to wait another week in order to clean this up. I'm here tonight to make some suggestions. One, it's time to clean these encampments up. If we don't have the staff and personnel to do it, let's go hire some contractors to do it and get these encampments cleaned up. Residents have been waiting long enough. Let's get out there and do it. Number two, there's no see-click fix category for illegal camping or illegal encampment. I'd request that that category get added to see-click fix. Now that it's illegal again, we would like to help you all as residents and help Folsom PD and Code Enforcement to report that when it's necessary. There's dirt trail and benches behind the Goodwill. Those also look to be on city property. I would ask that those get removed. They are covered in trash. It makes no sense to have benches along a dirt trail. Looking into there are benches that are along the maintained trail on the other side for people that are out walking. If they are on Goodwill property, we need to put a notice to abate right away because they are covered in trash. Like I could have filled up the back of my truck from those 4 benches today. The other thing that they've been complaining about or they've seen Are people accessing the isolation devices and backflow devices? I know we have annual inspection program for our isolation devices and backflow programs. I'd ask that we check that form and make sure that we're securing those against people from using them as hose bibs. The one I went past today had a bottle of soap that was sitting there, so people are using it to shower. So thank you for listening tonight. Thank you for all of your efforts and Folsom PD and code enforcement's efforts to abate this. We really want to claim our neighborhoods back from these fire and sanitation issues. Thank you.
Thank you.
You have no further requests to speak under business from the floor.
All right, well, that's scheduled presentations then?
Okay, your first scheduled presentation this evening is item number 1. This is a proclamation of the mayor of the city of Folsom proclaiming July 21st to 27th as National Zookeeper Week in the city of Folsom.
All right.
Oh.
All right, well, I would hand you the proclamation, but I think I'll hold on to it.
Oh.
All right.
Oh.
Well, welcome. Thank you very much for bringing along some of our zoo residents. Charming. Outstanding. Okay, this is a proclamation of the mayor of the city of Folsom proclaiming July 21st through 27th, 2024 as National Zookeeper Week in the city of Folsom. Whereas the Folsom City Zoo Sanctuary plays a key role in the city of Folsom's goals to increase tourism, increase the quality of life of our residents, build community, and contribute to the city's distinctive by nature attributes. And zookeepers significantly contribute to the Zoo Sanctuary's mission statement of teaching responsible behavior toward all animals. And zookeepers meet and exceed the rigorous requirements of the California Department of Fish and Wildlife and the United States Department of Agriculture. And our zookeepers diligently care for the Zoo Sanctuary's many rescued animals, comprised of 40 different species, all of which are animals who could not survive in the wild. And zookeepers possess unique and exceptional skills, enabling them to create behavioral enrichment items for the animals and use positive reinforcement training so that the animals may participate in their own vet care. And zookeepers work tirelessly to provide outstanding veterinary care, staying late and coming in early when animals are ill and require additional treatment. And zookeepers continuously demonstrate their unwavering dedication, including working weekends and holidays, because even during the worst winter storms, the animals still need to be fed and cared for. And zookeepers educate and inspire youth about conservation, native wildlife, and guide them into careers in the animal welfare field. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Michael D. Kozlowski, Mayor of the City of Folsom, do hereby proclaim July 21st through 27th, 2024 as National Zookeeper Week here in the City of Folsom, thus proclaim this 9th day of July 2024. So we have a handsome framed version of that, what I just read, but I think it'd be more interesting to hear about some of our guests.
All right. I'd be happy to.
There you go. Thank you.
I'll be quick. I'm Jocelyn, the zoo manager, and I'm short or shorter. Thank you. Some of our guests here are some of our amazing zookeepers. This is Shauna with 2 of our 4 ferrets, Osh and Obi. And then we have Autumn with Stabatha, a little African pygmy hedgehog. Stabatha was busy today. We had junior zookeeper camp, and the campers had some paint, and Stabatha made little footprint paintings for them to take home, but she dove into the paint, and she was covered in red and pink paint because she was having such a blast. So that's not blood on her. That's just a little paint. And then lastly, Rocky has Solomon, and he is our Solomon Island skink. And it's his 28th birthday. So yay for Solomon.
The skink or the...
They're both the same age, but the skink. So anyway, thank you very much for having us here. We're really glad to celebrate every year. The zookeepers work very hard, and when it's hot out, they're out there making little tiny ice pops and giant ones as big as trash cans for bears and things. So come on down and visit when the weather's cool.
Jocelyn, can you guys turn around? I want to get a picture. I mean, the back of you is amazing, but the animals, come on. Cute. Thank you.
All right. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
Our next item is scheduled presentation. Is item number 2. This is a proclamation of the mayor proclaiming July 2024 as Parks Make Life Better Month.
Jason and Kate, were you going to join me up there? No? Okay. All right, well, this is a proclamation of the mayor of the city of Folsom. Come on, everybody. Come on. Here, be the one that gets to accept this. Here you go. There you go. Hello. All right. Thanks, everybody. Okay, this is a proclamation of the mayor of the city of Folsom proclaiming July 2024 as Parks Make Life Better Month. Whereas Parks and Recreation is vitally important in providing physical and mental health and wellness through organized and self-directed activities, play, and fitness. And Parks and Recreation encourages physical activity by providing space for sports, walking trails, swimming pools, and many other activities designed to promote active lifestyles and community connections. And Parks and Recreation increases a community's economic prosperity through increased property values, expansion of the local tax base, increased tourism, the attraction and retention of businesses, and Parks and Recreation fosters social cohesiveness in communities by providing space for all individuals to come together peacefully and root for the Vista Del Lago Eagles and Folsom Bulldogs, and ensuring, that's extemporaneous, and ensuring all have access to parks and recreational benefits. And Parks and Recreation supports human development and endless learning opportunities that foster social, intellectual, physical, and emotional growth in people of all ages and abilities. And Parks and Recreation sustains and preserves our natural resources by protecting habitats and open space, connecting people to nature through our extensive trail network, and promoting the ecological awareness and sustainability. And so, therefore, be it resolved that I, Michael D. Kozlowski, Mayor of the City of Folsom, do hereby proclaim July 2024 as Parks Make Life Better Month, thus proclaim this 9th day of July 2024. Zane, you got a speech prepared? No? Kelly or somebody, you guys want to comment?
Just want to take a quick moment and thank youth sports for everything that you do. Youth sports is a major part of what we do in Parks and Recreation, making sure our kids are healthy, have a safe place to play. And also I want to thank all the professionals, the volunteers, everyone that makes Parks and Recreation what it is today. So please stand and be recognized.
Rich Francis here with the Folsom Athletic Association. We're proud to have 18 youth groups under our banner and adding more by the year. I just want to thank the city to continue supporting all of our parks and rec, and like Mayor Mike read, how important they are to the community as a whole. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, next up, we have the consent calendar, and we have a couple of requests to speak on item number 4, so I'll entertain a motion or others that
I
would
want
like
to
to be
pull
pulled.
number 11.
Okay,
Mayor, I'll take number 7 for comment only.
okay, so 4, 7, and 11.
I'll go ahead and move items 3, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, and 12.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Council members Aquino,
Yes.
Chalem-Chella,
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Rohrbaugh.
Yes.
And Kozlowski.
Yes. Okay, item number 4.
Yeah, item number 4 is resolution number 11218. This is a resolution to declassify 5 landmark trees within the JPA Landmark Grove to allow for removal. And this is part of the SAC-RT's light rail modernization 15 minutes to Folsom project.
Okay, we have a couple of members of the public that wanted to comment on this, so why don't we
Yep.
have them first?
Yeah, so our first speaker on this item will be Barbara Leary. Barbara, come on down, and Barbara will be followed by Bruce Klein.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council members. It's good to see you all this evening. It's a little cooler in here than it is outdoors. I just wanted to bring up some information that I have about this project. I think everybody realizes that it's been a very sad situation to have to face for those of us who've enjoyed that landmark grove of oak trees along Folsom Boulevard for years. However, the light rail project must go forward. I'm a supporter of using light rail and reducing the traffic on our streets. I had a conversation with the staff from RT a couple weeks ago and understand that in addition to the mitigation that's already planned for this project, which includes putting money into the mitigation bank, where the city can tap that to replace trees and plant acorns in places that have been deforested. They have, I understand, committed to doing a much more significant and visible project by replanting some larger trees in places that will signify their intent to replace a lot of the damage that has occurred during this process. So I don't know if anybody wanted to add anything to that. I think there's some representatives from RT here tonight, but I was glad to hear that they have volunteered to improve the mitigation and as a good faith gesture to the city of Folsom.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, our next speaker will be Bruce Klein.
Good evening. Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. Bruce Klein, President or Vice President of Friends of Folsom Parkway. A little history, 1999, Friends of Folsom Parkway designated this grove, did an application of the city to designate this grove, excuse me, as a landmark grove. First grove ever, second one we assisted with recently with the Oak Parkway corridor. Sarah Myers, former council member, was the author of that. So we're proud of the legacy of that. Obviously, the intent back then was to protect these trees from the light rail project. They wanted to make sure that those trees were protected. Thank you very much, Sarah, for all of your posts out there in social media to let people know what this project is and what it isn't. It's important that landmark trees include everything that's within a grove, even if it's very small. So when you look at the volume and the number of trees, which aren't that significant necessarily, but the volume of the trees that are being removed, many of them are very small, probably did not even exist, some of them, in 1999. But to Mayor Mike's point, when we talked about the Oak Parkway corridor, one of the things that the landmark designation does is it assures that there's transparency when things get removed out of corridors like this and make it a bit more difficult or a little bit more transparent in getting them removed. A couple comments on the staff report that talks about mitigation or trees elsewhere in the city, and it talks about payment of mitigation funds. I would urge the council and to work with staff, our arborist, the RT arborist, and a landscaper to mitigate those on site to the maximum extent possible. So to the extent that there is damage or degradation of the oak trees that exist there, let's try to do them on site around some of the areas around the Glen Station, et cetera, and enhance this rather than simply have it removed. So I appreciate it all. Thank you very much.
All right, excellent. Okay, so bringing this back to the council, so the vice mayor and I had the opportunity to walk the actual individual tree locations with the city arborist and the staff from RT yesterday, and I think Bruce captured it correctly. A couple of the trees that are scheduled to be removed are heritage oaks by virtue of having grown sometime since 1999 into the areas where we're talking about. Two of them are very, very small. And not that they won't be missed, but they can easily be mitigated in a couple of different ways. There is one significant size tree that is growing at a really unusual angle and overhanging where the power wire has to be for the light rail second track. So that is the one that is going to get removed that could be noticeable, but I think the overall impression that we had, and I'll let you comment if you agree, is that the tree canopy as it exists currently is going to barely noticeably be altered. And the area in and around the Glen Station, particularly and in the vicinity of the Glen Station, is going to not be affected at all. These are down a ways along the trail from the actual station. So RT generously has planned to pay the mitigation fee that is required when you remove oaks, just as they are required to do. And they've also offered to partner with the city on a replacement project. I don't think that everybody agrees necessarily that in that particular corridor is the perfect place to do that replacement project, but we're going to work with the arborist to make a choice about that. So that's kind of where we left it, and I think that it's a net loss of a substantial tree, a single one, but on the whole, it's going to be a net gain to the city. So, and with regard to why we seemed to have like 3 bites of the apple with tree removals along that corridor, our RT was, it seemed as though they were being a little loose with the choice of when to bring these things forward and ask for this, but the reality is that they were trying to be as optimistic as possible about what trees could be retained. So they only were coming to us when they reached the point where the alignment of the tracks was fully perfectly known, and they could do a direct measurement of the overhanging branches for each and every one of the trees that was along the corridor. So as that project has progressed, it has become more clear which ones were in, where there were conflicts. And there are literally hundreds of trees along that line in the grove that we're talking about. So doing that ahead of time with having an outside arborist do that ahead of time was pretty difficult without having the actual track alignment in place so that they had it as a reference. So they had a good catalog of the trees, but the actual conflicts were not perfectly known until the track alignment was obvious and physically graded out. So that's kind of where we're at with this, and if you want to add to it. Yeah, okay. So I would suggest that we go forward with this, and we'll look forward to partnering with RT on a tree mitigation project sometime in the future at the direction of our city arborist.
I'll go ahead and move item. I have some comments. So my concern is just what you spoke to, Mayor, is about the escalating, how many times this has come to council. Originally, from what I read in the staff report and what I remember, it was they were going to take down 5 trees. We all agreed with the project. But I wonder if we would have agreed with the project if we knew what we knew now. January 23rd, it was 5 more trees. February 13th was 13 trees. When this was being prepared, it was 4 additional trees. And then on June 24th was 1 more additional tree, with 8 more being pruned. Pruned is very hard on these trees. So as well. So it's change orders are very common in any industry like this. But what concerned me the most is what I read in the staff report is that because SAC-RT did not have the trees, this is what's in the staff report, did not have the trees within the Folsom Boulevard JPA Grove surveyed and mapped in conformance with requirements set forth in Folsom Code. As part of their project design, additional tree impacts continue to emerge. And so my concern is, why are we, if we claim to be distinctive by nature, RT is already coming into the city. Why are we bending over backwards to make this project work when it should be on SAC RT to figure out other options to make this work? So I think if it wasn't escalating like this, if it didn't continue, I mean, we skipped March and April, but I mean, so I don't like how this is moving, and I don't trust that there aren't going to be more problems with this grove. So do we value our landmark tree agreement at all? And I think, the answer could be yes or no. And then does light rail, having it come twice every half hour, every 15 minutes, is that a higher and better value? And I'm not going to answer that yes or no, but I guess my concern comes down, how would we have voted if we knew that this was going to happen in the first place? If we knew 23 trees were going to be for sure taken out, and then those other protected trees, there's no guarantee that those are going to stay healthy with all the construction going on. So at some point, we have to say enough is enough. And so I do appreciate that 2 council members went out and looked at the trees, and the pictures were very, very clear that, it's not going to have a huge impact. But my concern isn't about the last 5, it's about the previous 18 as well. So and for that reason, I'm going to vote no on this.
There's a motion on the table to approve item number 4.
I don't think there was.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and move items 1, 1, 2, 1, 8.
I will second.
Okay, please call the roll.
Council members Aquino?
Yes.
Chalem Chella?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Rorba?
No.
And Kozlowski?
Yes. All right, 7 or 8?
Yes.
7.
Item number 7 is resolution number 11224. This is a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement with Water Systems Consulting, Inc. for consulting services for the water conservation needs assessment.
Okay.
Yes, Mayor. This is just for information only here, just to make a very positive comment on Marcus Yasutaki, who run this procurement. Besides just putting this procurement out there, his team personally identified 20 plus other engineering firms to send it out. That's what we were looking for. But at the end, even though we received 2 people bidding on it, and I'm sure you guys might have seen the dollars also, and they gave us a 35 points weightage on the cost. I'm just giving all these kudos to Water Department team and Marcus Yasutaki. And I know we get this Brooks Act in place in between. We don't have to give a weightage for the cost. I just want to remind our council and Elaine also, if we bring Brooks Act into place, $236,000 contract is going to win instead of 127 if we give no value to the cost. So I just want to bring that out here. Yes, sometimes laws are there. Even the Brooks Act says in a reasonable cost price. So this is awesome, but in the future, I want to make sure, even though the acts are there, but the dollar is very important as well. So this one is almost double. The second one is going to be even 0.6 points because they're going to win the $236,000 one. I just want to bring it to our council's attention. We had a presentation a few months ago, and it says Brooks Act place no cost into evaluation. I sincerely request, please put a cost into evaluation. That's all I want to say. But this one, Marcus Yasutaki executed awesome. I want to give him a kudos. I request manager to disseminate this to all other department heads. Please consider giving weightage for the cost. Thank you. With that, I'm going to make this motion.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Council members Aquino?
Yes.
Chalem Chella?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Rorba?
Yes.
And Kozlowski?
Yes.
All right, last on your consent calendar pulled for discussion is item number 11. This is resolution number 11230, a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a communications site license agreement with Dish Wireless at BT Collins Park.
So, so I'll ask you, Elaine. So I sent some questions in today. A resident asked me some of these questions, and it spurred on some more. So I'm curious. I mean, it was pretty simple in here, but I'm curious what equipment or what's going to be placed there.
So I'm going to invite Liz Boggy to come up, who heads up generally our wireless tower program for the city.
Are you about to tell us that cell phones make life better?
Yes. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm Liz Foggy, Senior Management Analyst with Parks and Recreation. So most often the cell tower providers, they'll put in like generators or just small equipment in that area to ensure that the tower and their equipment is running properly at all times. So this specific agreement is for 151 square feet of property within BT Collins Park. So pretty small little sliver of the park.
Okay. And then the question I had for Elaine earlier, so I don't know if you can answer this or not.
She received all the questions.
Okay. Where did the 3% market rate come from?
So my predecessor had done a market rate study, and it was established, actually before COVID, it was about 2%. And since there's such, oh, I'm sorry, I got derailed. Where's my notes? But after COVID, we increased it to 3% because the market could support that. These renewals or new towers don't come up very often, but every time they do, we try to reevaluate and see what their agreement can support.
Okay. So no heavy trucks are coming through with, I mean.
They should not be, but there are standards in their contract as far as maintenance and any damages done to our property and remediating those.
Okay, so that will be ongoing as they come and replace equipment, things like that. So the staff will go out and evaluate as that happens.
Yeah, and so actually this is a co-locator agreement. It's going on a PG&E tower, so they will be using the PG&E easements. So the agreement falls on PG&E to maintain their easement in that park.
So after the first initial 10 years, then there can be renegotiation of the contract.
I believe it's all written in there as far as the extensions of the agreement.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, my concern was, in some things like this, it seems like sometimes we get into situations where we haven't factored in maintenance of roads and things like that, but you answered all the questions, so I thank you. Thank you, Liz.
One of the things I will add is that historically, we used to allow the providers to bring in their own co-locators and have their own agreement with those providers that are jumping on their tower. And now we require all co-locators to have an agreement directly with us so we can better monitor who is on that parcel and what kind of damage or maintenance and all that is done.
And actually, you answered the question about the 3% escalating cost, but how did you come up with the $13,500?
So what we do is, well, my predecessor had done an informal rate study right before she retired. And what we do is we will pull our most recent agreements and try to mirror it as closely as possible based on the square footage of the site. Because the FCC and federal regulations want to ensure that our fees are competitively neutral. As you can tell, I'm reading that
That's
part.
awesome. I appreciate it.
And non-discriminatory. So we have to be sure that we're treating all companies equally.
Okay. Thank you so much for having that.
No problem.
Any other questions?
No, I'll make a motion to move it forward.
I'll second.
All right, excellent. We have a motion and a second.
Council members Aquino,
Yes.
Chalem Chella,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Rohrbaugh,
Yes.
and Kozlowski.
Yes. Okay, it moves us to public hearings.
Yeah, your one public hearing item this evening is ordinance number 1346. This is an uncodified ordinance to amend the zoning district for a 2.47 acre parcel from R1ML and A1A to R1ML, and to amend the zoning district for 2.14 acre parcel from A1A to R1ML for the 1000 East Natoma rezone to residential project. This will be introduction and first reading of the ordinance.
And I just wanted to introduce Jessica Brandt, who's our brand new principal planner for the city. So welcome to Jessica.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard.
Okay.
All right. I do have a presentation, and as this is my first time, I'm not sure how it works.
Okay, hang on.
The clerk has
Once
all
you,
the buttons.
once you have it ready on your on the dais there, I can send it to the projector for you.
About like 25 years of experience.
Nope, you do it on the desktop there. Sorry, it's okay.
Says the password is
Everything's going to break on you at
Oh
once.
no.
Let me.
I think Steve will assist.
I do not.
I can do it.
Can you?
Yeah, give me a moment.
Okay. Sorry about that.
We need hold music.
I know. So, good evening, Mayor Kozlowski and council members. As mentioned, I'm Jessica Brandt, principal planner.
Oh, Jessica,
Yes.
your
Thank
voice
you.
is, yeah.
Yes, super
Use
loud.
your outside
Okay.
voice.
Jessica Brandt, Principal Planner with Community Development, and I'll be providing a very brief presentation on the 1000 East Natoma rezone to residential request. So, as you can't see on the slide, but you will shortly, the project site is located at 1000 and 1010 East Natoma Street at the northeast corner of the Briggs Ranch Road, Folsom Point Road, and East Natoma Road intersection. The site is approximately 4.6 acres of rolling hills and is comprised of 2 parcels. It's okay. So surrounding uses of the site include Folsom Point State Park to the north, residential, single-family residential to the south and east, and a church to the west. So as I mentioned, the site does have a rolling topography sloping up to the north. Main access to the site is currently from Folsom Point Road, although there is a driveway on East Natoma as well. 1000 East Natoma Street is developed with 1 single-family residence, and 1010 East Natoma Street has a barn. Recent use of the site has consisted of short-term rental of the residents. So the project site currently has a split zoning of R1ML and A1A on the 1000 East Natoma property, which is residential single-family dwelling medium lot density and agricultural reserve district. And then the 1010 East Natoma property has a zoning of A1A. The applicant is requesting tonight to rezone both parcels to R1ML. The general plan land use designation for both parcels is single family. The applicant is interested in obtaining the zoning change to develop the site for a church. However, I do want to make it very clear that the request tonight is just for the rezoning of the property. It does not include any development of the site. Thank you.
And you might want to just use the arrow keys on the keyboard. Sometimes
Okay.
that moves the slides a little more
That
smoothly.
will also get
Yeah.
me? Okay.
Yep. That might get you.
Okay, so vicinity map 1, vicinity map 2. So here's the site. As I mentioned, there's the house on the one property and then the barn on the other, and the 2 access points. And then here's our rezoning request exhibit. So as I'd mentioned, development of the site is not part of this request. Just to kind of bring home the point, if a church were to be proposed here, they would have to come in for a use permit to go to the Planning Commission for approval. Staff is supportive of this rezone. The project site is to go to entirely R1ML. This would remove a split zoning situation, which makes properties difficult to develop. It would also make the zoning consistent with the single-family general plan designation. And staff did want to note also that the single-family general plan designation due to state law already allows residential on the site. So this would make the zoning more consistent with what is already allowed under our general plan. And then finally, the A1A zoning district is a holding district, really meant for larger properties that don't have urban services, and these sites do have urban services. So related with the environmental review, this project, and again, by project, I mean the rezone, no development, does not result in any impacts not already addressed by the EIR approved for the City of Folsom General Plan, which the single-family general plan designation was included in. And then because it would not result in densities not already permitted by the land use designation. So it's been determined that it does not require additional environmental review. And so with that, just a really brief information on the Planning Commission. They did consider this request at their May 15th, 2024 hearing. There were no public comments received at that hearing, and the Commission did vote 6-0, 1 absent to recommend approval of the rezone request. Your recommended action today is to direct introduction and a first reading of the ordinance for the rezone. And then this item is tentatively scheduled to return for a second reading and adoption on July 23rd. The rezoning would take effect 30 days after adoption. This ends staff's presentation. I do want to note that there was one public comment that was submitted regarding this project today, and which you received in your additional materials. And I am happy to answer any questions the council may have on the project or the comment. And the applicant, Pastor Dave Colpin of Foundation Lutheran Church, is also here to respond to any questions. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. So council, any questions, and save editorial comments until we open it for public hearing?
None.
None? Nothing? Everybody good? Okay. Well, I'm going to open the public hearing. Is there anyone who would like to comment on this?
You have no request to speak on this item.
Okay. Going once, twice. Okay. Closing the public hearing. Council colleagues, do you have any other commentary that you'd like to make, or I'll entertain a motion?
I'll go ahead and move ordinance number 1346.
Mayor, before we go, I know I met the client. I just want to be, for the public record, we would love to bring them here. They have some great ideas for our town. This is the time, probably they can share their great ideas, everyone can listen. And also, they have some neighborhoods, they are already doing a great networking. That's always important. We don't want a room full of people here saying nay, but they're already proactively doing all those one. I want to appreciate on that one. With your permission, maybe we can invite an applicant, whether he can say a few words to the council.
Before or after we consider the motion?
I'm fine either way.
Either way? Okay,
Either
why
way
don't
is
we,
fine.
if there's a second, let's
I'm second.
finish this, and then we can ask them if they'd like to make any comments.
I second that.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any other commentary?
Nope.
Okay, please call the roll.
Councilmembers Aquino?
Yes.
Chalem Chella?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Rohrbaugh?
Yes.
And Kozlowski?
Yes, and Pastor, would you like to comment on your
Can we just ask a
future
procedural
plans?
question of the city attorney? Since we're not considering any sort of project other than the rezone, is it appropriate to do that at this time, or would that be for?
It would have been more appropriate to receive comment before council took action.
Okay.
But the mayor did open an opportunity to invite, so the council can hear.
Maybe it would be interesting to just hear about the community outreach that you're doing and keep it limited to that rather than the project.
Welcome, Pastor.
Welcome to Folsom.
Thank you.
Sorry,
All right, now you're
Test,
good.
okay.
You're
Oh,
good.
there you go.
Okay.
As I said earlier, my name is Dave Kelpine. I'm pastor at Foundation Lutheran and a very proud member of the Folsom community. I think the largest group of people I've ever spoken in front of at one time was about 2,300 people. And I can honestly say my heart was pounding probably more now. Mostly, I think because of the importance of this decision for us and also the respect I have for you guys and what you do. I've learned a lot about that in the last few months, so I thank you for that and appreciate it. I've had the opportunity to meet with, actually my wife and I have had the opportunity to meet with you and talk a little bit more about the background of who we are and what we plan to do. And I probably will save most of those words for when we do have a project approval, and I'm excited to share that with you. But Foundation Lutheran is a very young mission. It's kind of neat that Parks Make Life Better is here tonight because they make life for churches better, specifically Foundation Lutheran. We started meeting in the parks, and as God's blessed that, and we've been able to reach so many people in the community and plan to do so through so many different outreach ministries. We want to make a big difference in this community, and the way to do that is by meeting people and making a difference in people's lives. And that's the best thing we get to do, and I get to be a part of standing shoulder to shoulder with many of the people behind me and many more. So thank you so much for this time. I'm here to answer any questions if you have any.
I think we'll probably save dialogue for when your project is in front of us.
Perfect.
All right. Thank you very, very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
All right. And Mr. City Attorney, my apologies for getting things out of order there. Okay, next item, old business.
Okay, old business item number 14. This is resolution number 11227. This is a resolution accepting a progress report to date from the First River District Master Plan Citizens Advisory Committee and authorizing the formation of a second River District Master Plan Citizens Advisory Committee. Mr. Goss.
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, I'll take the 5 of you over 2,300 anytime. We're here before you this evening basically for an administrative task because the calendar has run out on the River District Master Plan Citizen Advisory Committee. It was formed a little over a year ago by your adoption of Resolution 11044 on June 13th. You designated 24 members in the Citizens Advisory Committee. 13 came from stakeholder organizations across the city that have some kind of relative connection to the River District. You also appointed 11 individuals or residents to the committee for a total of 24. The resolution became effective July 15th last year, and it ends July 14th next week of this year. That's according to the Folsom Municipal Code. The actual start date when we got to work was August 31st of last year. So we've been at this a little over 10 months at this point. So to date, the Citizens Advisory Committee has had 11 meetings. We've worked on the opportunities and constraints of the River District. It's a 6-mile project. It is no small area. We had 4 various meetings. We had small group tabletop exercises. You commonly would refer them to as charrettes with the committee. They were very busy and very productive. They had a deep review of resident and community engagement with our social pinpoint that was online and the online survey. They've had discussions and made selections about our key sites, which include, and you'll get more of this here later this summer, but those key sites include the River Promenade, Loop Trail and Bridge in the northern reach of the river, some ideas for the future of Rodeo Park, as well as the city's property at Traders Lane. They've had discussions and recommendations on the general land use direction of the Corporation Yard, and all of that is summarized in your staff report before you. I have no presentation tonight. I'm sure you're heartbroken over that. The additional work to be completed, we do anticipate at least 2 more CAC meetings. We have an all-commission workshop, at least in terms of Planning Commission, Historic District Commission, and Parks and Recreation Commission. Those are the commissions relative to the River District. We have individual commission meetings with each of those coming up later this summer. We have a City Council study session coming up, and then tentatively City Council consideration of approval of the master plan October 22nd or November 12th. So with that, staff recommends that you accept the status report and summary contained in the staff report, and that you actually do authorize and form a second CAC, a Citizens Advisory Committee for the River District Master Plan, so that we can complete that work for you before the end of the year. That's my report.
Very good, thank you. Questions from the council?
There's no financial impact of this. You're just continuing what is already there.
Correct, there is none.
Okay.
Anything else?
If there's no questions, I'll go ahead and move resolution number 11227.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Council members Aquino,
Yes.
Chalem Chella,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Rohrbaugh,
Yes.
and Kozlowski.
Yes. All right. Council requests for future agenda items. Do we have any? Ms. Rodriguez.
I don't.
Okay. Anna? Nope. YK?
Nope.
Okay, Madam Vice Mayor. All right, we'll move on to the city manager's report then.
Thank you, Mayor. The City of Folsom, we have extended our cooling center through this Friday, July 12th, in response to high-risk heat forecast this week. The Folsom Police Department lobby at 46 Natoma Street will be open from 12 to 7 p.m. For information about our cooling center, call the Folsom Police Department non-emergency line at 916-461-6400. Due to high-risk heat forecast, the Folsom City Zoo Sanctuary will be closing at 1 p.m. this Thursday and Friday, with the last entry at 12:30 p.m. And you can find out more at folsom.ca.us/zoo. The Waste and Recycling Division is implementing new collection routes to operate and deliver services more efficiently. Beginning the week of July 22nd, many Folsom households will see their waste collection day change. Ours has been Wednesday for 30 years, and now it's Tuesday, and I'm traumatized. You can find out more on our website. Free Friday evening concert series. The series continues at Folsom City Lions Park with Inner Soul, which is R&B, on July 12th. Bands play from 7 to 9 p.m., so bring a picnic or purchase food and treats from a variety of food trucks at each concert. And then finally, National Night Out will be celebrated throughout Folsom and in cities across the country on Tuesday, August 6th. If you would like to participate, neighborhoods hosting celebrations are encouraged to register their National Night Out event by Wednesday, July 17th at folsom.ca.us/police. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, excellent. Any council comments?
I have some. I just want to give a really big shout out to the Chamber of Commerce, Choose Folsom, for 4 days of an outstanding run rodeo in some pretty high heat. There was 3 days of the rodeo, and plus the inaugural Sacramento County Sheriff's Rodeo that was well attended by residents in, again, very extreme heat. So it was good. I just want to, Helene, I want to wish you a happy birthday. I know your birthday is July 16th, coming up next
So kind,
week.
right back at you.
Yeah. And I want to acknowledge that Justin made some really good recommendations. I mean, I would love to see the C-Click-Fix have a particular line item for camps, because I think it'll help organize when somebody goes through it. And then I also am asking that we do something for the CERT team. During the rodeo, the CERT team was out there. These are people who are volunteers that just took care of some, incidents that may have happened, that occurred at the rodeo, where people may have had heat exhaustion, and they do such an incredible job. So I'm hoping that maybe we could do something for them, because the rodeo just wouldn't be able to operate without their volunteerism. That's it.
Maybe an ice skating party.
That would be awesome.
Just along the same lines, there are so many volunteers that worked out in the heat for 4 days straight. I know I was part of the Rotary booth, as I know many other people here volunteered, and it's really hot, but without all of those volunteers, CERT, without our police department, CAPS, CERT, and fire department, it wouldn't be able to happen. So thank you to everyone that volunteered. Also, thank you to our fire department for some quick work over the 4th of July. And I think, we haven't acknowledged them too much lately, and where the fire happened was literally right by houses. So they made quick work of it, got it out, and everyone was protected. So we don't have a lot of fires within Folsom city limits, but when we do, they certainly are on the spot, and I do really appreciate what they are doing to protect us.
Excellent. All right. Thank you very much. YK?
Mayor, this is July 4th. I know you commented the other day. YK, you carry the most US flags in any scenarios with the biggest ones in parades. So thank you. No, I was really enjoying carrying the US flags, fireworks and all those. Those are all awesome. I just want to bring two topics here. Illegal fireworks in our town. It's growing slowly and steadily. It is very dangerous. I know one incident can damage unrecoverable situation for our town. And I was watching the next day, I was sending a note to Elaine also, KCRA 3, how other cities are doing, how they're issuing some penalties and citations for the illegal fireworks. It hurt me, it touched me right away. After listening to that news, I was driving, I live near Handy Park, and I saw those illegal fireworks kind of things. I imagine that those are the ones. And I looked at the right side. Elliott construction is going on. What happens if one fireworks fell on that one if there is no one? I'm just saying one. And I live in a high side on the Serpave side. I took my wife, by the way, to there. We always watch with some food. I saw on the south of 50 also. It's not, describing any areas, but there is open fields. What happens? So I think, yes, I was talking to Elaine also. It's a July 4th rodeo. Most of our police and fire are there. We got a little bit balance to start, telling the people or communicating more and more the danger. And at the same time, telling is one thing. Telling them, we have a technology nowadays, drones. Drones can spot out the people who is firing those ones right on. They are another dog kind of things. I just want to bring that one. We have to bring some enforcement for illegal fireworks in our town. So I just want to make that. And the other one also, I think Sarah was, I don't know whether you commented on that one or not. This is another thing about our pets. I had a Dharma, she's no longer. I can imagine how my wife was taking care of my little dog. She rolls with a bed sheet and she goes underneath because they're so fearful. And on the following day, I was seeing some posts on social media. So many dogs were wandering in the streets. So I don't know what to do. I was trying to put some comments on that one. Anything we as a city can offer some additional help from our animal service officers or some certs, not certs, caps, providing some additional assistance. If you see a dog outdoor, dial this number. More refreshing communication to them. It helps because those are, again, our loved pets as well. So those are the two comments besides, all the great things we do for July 4th. I want to see the other side also where some suffering is going on. So with that, rodeo was awesome. I think I was volunteering with Mayor was also there. Mm-hmm. Thank you again.
Excellent. No report. Okay. Just a couple of quick things. I want to echo the thanks to all of the volunteers that worked in the fireworks booths, selling safe and sane fireworks. That's one of the biggest fundraisers that we have for our sports programs here in Folsom. So thank you to everybody who did that, and also to CERTS and CAPS for all the hard work that they did at the rodeo. The police department and the fire department also for working hard over the 4th weekend, and then all the volunteers that helped make the rodeo actually happen. So I think it's possible that there's more volunteers working on something the 4th of July period than we do on Community Service Day, because it's such a big event. It's important to us. And then the second thing, I wanted to thank the Vice Mayor for doing an outstanding job of getting through the discussion of the budget last week in my absence. And then just wanted to clear up for anybody that happens to be watching why I wasn't here. I didn't make any secret of it, but for months I had been planning to help make a presentation with the director of RT and some of the staff from Regional Transit. I hold the city's board seat on Regional Transit, and the three of us, with some partners, made a presentation at a transportation conference in San Diego that day, or actually the following day, and travel required me to leave on Tuesday evening. The upshot of this is that the presentation was about transit-oriented development, which is basically using excess property that transit agencies have to build housing. And our regional transit here in Sacramento is one of the national leaders in doing projects like that. So we were trumpeting that at a transportation conference and reaching out for other partners to come and be P3 partners with Regional Transit and other projects like that, and spread the word about how to get projects like that to happen. So that's what I was doing, and I'm grateful again to the Vice Mayor for getting us through that discussion last week. And then last two quick things, looking forward to the graduation and promotion ceremony on Monday for the fire department, which I will be at. And then I was interviewed earlier this week by ABC 10, asking questions about our having been identified as one of the top 4 fastest growing cities in California. And I got the opportunity to tell the great story of why Folsom is so fantastic and why lots of neighbors want to come join us. So with that, I will say thank you to everybody for your attention, and we are adjourned.